Sri Krishna says, one who is endowed with knowledge sees all living beings as being equal, because he sees them all as divine souls, as tiny parts of God. That Karma Yogi has illumined the intellect with knowledge, and he has learned to control the mind and the senses. Because he does not think that this world is for my enjoyment. It is the desire to enjoy that sends the mind in a spin out of control. And that Karma Yogi sees the soul of all souls, the Supreme Lord, seated inside everyone. Although doing all kinds of works, he is never entangled. See, what is material consciousness? To lament, to hanker. Somebody did something bad to you. He did it 3 months ago. You are lamenting till today. He did it. He is very bad. Why did he do it? He did his work and went away. But you are shackled to it till today by your mental thoughts of lamentation. Now, supposing we can start seeing God in him, like the Karma Yogi does. God is seated in that fellow. God did this to test me, so that I can learn the quality of patience and forgiveness. Immediately, all the material consciousness dissolves, because we see it as coming from God.
Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 5. Verse chanting is followed by translation and commentary by Swami Mukundananda.
Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyaha sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi na lipyate.
The Karma Yogis, who are of purified intellect and who control the mind and senses, see the soul of all souls in every living being. Though performing all kinds of actions, they are never entangled.
Now, having said, okay, Arjun, like right now, you stick to Karma Yoga. In chapter 18, he'll go back to Karma Sanyas, actually at the end of this chapter also. But now when it's decided, Karma Yoga, so he explains the state of the proficient Karma Yogis. So those Karma Yogis are of purified intellect. This word Atma is used in different ways in that one verse. Just like the word yoga keeps getting used variously. So yoga yukto vishuddhatma. Here he's saying those who are of purified intellect. Purified intellect is the point that came up in the Q&A session. That means you have decided the world is not mine. One husband and wife, they went, somebody took them to the race course. And they saw all these horses running around. They were allured. People were winning. Some, I won. And they said, so exciting. Whatever were carrying with them, $200, they said, let's try a little. They lost it. Let's try this. Let's try this. And finally, they lost everything except for $2. So they were going home with the $2, and there was a casino. Husband said to the wife that you go home. Let me see if I can play a little with these $2. He entered the casino. He put the $2 somewhere, and it was his lucky one. It became $200. He tried again, and it became $2,000. And he kept on winning until he had $53,000. So he said, wow, I'm having my winning streak. Gamblers, they all know that once in a while they have a winning streak. So he said, okay, let's put it all on number 13. $53,000, and that needle roamed around and came at number 12. So he lost everything. He came home. Wife said, what happened? He said, I lost the $2. Well, that is what you lose in any case. We people make a big deal about worldly trials and tribulations, but the purified intellect says it doesn't matter. It's not as important as your mind is making it out to be. So that is the Vishuddhatma. And then he says, Vijitatma Jitendriya. Those Karma Yogis who have controlled Vijitatma, conquered their mind and their senses. Then Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. They see the soul of souls in everything. The soul of the souls is Bhagavan. So they start seeing God everywhere. Once in a Bal Mukund class, one teacher was teaching the students and asked that where is Bhagavan? So one student said he is in the Radha Krishna Mandir. One student said that he is in our house puja room. One student said that Sri Krishna Bhagavan is in everybody's heart. One student said he is in our bathroom. So the Bal Mukund teacher got confused that why did you say that God is in your bathroom? Said, the reason is that every morning when my father goes to the bathroom, my mother is already there and he keeps waiting and he says, hey Bhagavan, when will you get out of here? So I am sure Father knows that Bhagavan is inside there. It's a fact that Bhagavan is in the toilet, but he is everywhere in this world as well. And the Uttam Adhikari, a Shresh devotee, is one who sees him everywhere. Sarva bhuteshu yah pashyet bhagavat bhavamatmanah bhutani bhagavatyatman yesha bhagavatottamah. In the Bhagavatam, Vedvyas writes, Bhagavatottam, the Shrestha devotee, is one who sees God everywhere. And because they are at such a state, the Karma Yogis, they have purified their intellect, they have controlled their minds, they are seeing this world as divine. So even though they do everything, they are not bound in their works. For example, the gopis were not renunciants. They were living in their homes. They had children, they had families, and yet their state in bhakti was so elevated that Narad says they are acharyas. He says, Yatha Braj Gopika Bhav. Narad has written a bhakti darshan of 84 sutras. And then he says, who are the acharyas of this bhakti? So he doesn't say Prahlad, he doesn't say Ambarish, he doesn't say Prithu. He says, Yatha Braj Gopika Bhav. Take a look at the bhakti of the gopis. So that means, even in the state of Karma Yoga, you can achieve that high state of elevation. If you keep on working on improving your mind, the decision of your intellect, etc. As a Karma Yogi, try and develop divine consciousness. Material consciousness comes easy. I and my self-interest, and that self-interest leads to hatred, love and hate. Whoever fulfills it, we love that person. Whoever harms it, we hate that person. All this comes natural, the ego. Now we need to break it down as a Karma Yogi by extending our consciousness. I am not alone. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya samanam vriksham parikhasvajate. The Vedas are saying there are two personalities in the heart. One is the soul and one is the Supreme Soul. That Supreme Soul is a friend of the soul. And the Supreme Soul is looking and watching. But this tiny soul has its back to the Supreme Soul. Like this. So the Supreme Soul is not interfering. And it's like two birds on a tree. So this soul is eating the fruit of the tree. Likewise, we are reaping the karmas of our past actions while in this body. So the Vedas say, if this first bird turns around to the second bird, if the soul turns around to God, all its miseries will cease to be. What is the idea of turning around? Bringing the awareness of God. He is with me. Now, this is one of the important precepts in the darshan that Kripaluji Maharaj has presented. That expand your consciousness. When you go to the temple, you're thinking Bhagavan is there. When you come out, you're thinking Bhagavan is not there. Now, always learn to live in the consciousness of God. Sochu manaya karma mama sab lakhat hari nit pyare. At all times think, what I am doing, Bhagavan is watching. So the consequence is, we will never do any sin. Even if your neighbor is watching, you will never do any sin. One person is going out at night to commit a theft. At 12 o'clock he thinks, everybody must be asleep. So he's walking on the street. Should I do the burglary? And the neighbor comes, Arey bhai, what are you doing here? Oh, no, sorry, I was not feeling sleepy, that's why I'm just taking a walk. Now he realized that his neighbor is around, don't do anything wrong. And if you realize that your spiritual father is around, then you'll never do any sin. So this is the added advantage of trying to practice this consciousness of being in the presence of God.